Jesus is clear. Unless we become like a little child, we will not enter the kingdom of God. When else was he that direct? And what did he mean? What attributes do children have that Jesus could see that we needed? Jesus chose children to be the example, to be the standard for how we are to be or become to enter the kingdom of God. So take what we know about children over here and what we don't know about being in God's kingdom over there, and let's create a bridge between the two. On that bridge, we would find attentiveness. Children are very able to be in the moment and live in the present. Children don't know they're growing up to be someone. They know they're already someone, whole and complete and worthy of love and belonging. By being in the present, children can delight and wonder in creation. On that bridge, I think we would find well-developed imagination. Children do not hold so tightly to reality and what is, but they're very comfortable imagining what could be or what would happen if we. In this way, the child can serve as the prophet within the faith community, speaking of hope and new possibilities, if we only have ears to listen. On that bridge, I think we would also find vulnerability. Vulnerability exemplifies our basic humanity and God's own nature. By becoming vulnerable with the children in our midst, we not only stoke a claim with their lives, we also understand more fully what it means to be created in God's image and what it means to be church. To be vulnerable means to expose oneself to possible harm and injury, but it also means to acknowledge dependence on and connection with others. Adults push away and hide their vulnerabilities and proclaim their hard-earned self-reliance. But we do not outgrow it, vulnerability. It is not only an attribute of the nature of a child. Vulnerability is a primary characteristic of God in relationship to us. Do we picture God as mighty in battle or as a vulnerable child? Vulnerability is the birthplace of love, belonging, joy, courage, empathy, and creativity. It is the source of hope, empathy, accountability, and authenticity. If we want greater clarity in our purpose or deeper and more meaningful spiritual lives, vulnerability is the path, says Brené Brown. Vulnerability is perhaps one of the key traits that Jesus saw in children. As church, we affirm a different kind of power than that which the world uplifts. At church, we have our security invested in different things, and our trust is in something entirely different than that which the stock market trusts. Jensen again reminds us that the church offers for us 4 practices of vulnerability: baptism, peacemaking, sanctuary, and prayer. Baptism blesses and names our vulnerability. In a time and place within a faith community, we are claimed to be cared for in baptism. Peacemaking is a fundamental need for all and a necessary future for children. Sanctuary is practiced when we have failed in our peacemaking efforts, and we are mandated to protect and shelter those most in need or vulnerable. Prayer occurs in a posture of vulnerability. Trust, intense attention, and earnest desire are attributed to children that can demonstrate for us this in their innate being. Walter Brueggemann, Old Testament scholar, has a lot to say about imagination, not so much as it pertains to children, but as it pertains to the prophets. Their imagination offered the people of God an alternative to the powers of the world and the destructive forces of the empire that did not allow the people to flourish. Perhaps Jesus saw children as prophets. They are truth tellers and hopeful. Have you ever asked a child if they like something They will tell you the truth with passion. If you're looking for a hopeful perspective, ask a child what could be. So Jesus took the child upon his knee and said, "Unless you become like one of these, you cannot enter the kingdom of God."